The theory of evolution provides a natural explanation for the diversity of life we observe without requiring a divine creator.
Smirks. Without a transcendent moral foundation, we're left with subjective preferences.
So all of what AI Craig said is true, but that doesn't quite get at the heart of Doc AI's comments. Do you see that?
Then surely you can explain the existence of poorly designed features, like male nipples.
I've walked through this debate and pointed out who I think did a better job, but now let's see what AI thinks about who won the debate. William Lane Craig and Richard Dawkins agree to a debate. Who would win? Here it is. Somebody had to go and do it. And it turns out that somebody is our friend Cameron Bertuzzi over at Capturing Christianity. Welcome back to another Debate Teacher Reacts here at Wise Disciple. My name is Nate Sala, and before I jumped into this Christian ministry, I was a debate teacher. And so I look at debates online, and I talk about them and give my sort of inside baseball perspective on things, and then I declare who I think won according to the more formal rules of debate. Well, like I said, today, Cameron Bertuzzi, using AI technology, has produced for us the debate that we always wished would have happened. That is William Lane Craig versus Richard Dawkins, one-on-one, mano a mano. What does that even mean? Mano a mano? I'm not even going to look this up. Somebody can tell me what this means. This was too good to pass up, y'all. I was going to go in another direction for a video this week, but come on, guys, I had to. So let's do this. I'm going to watch the debate with you. It's incredibly short. I will stop and give my thoughts along the way. At the end, I'll tell you who I think won this debate, but I think it would be even more fun to find out who AI thinks would win in a debate like this. So we're going to do all of those things. Are you ready? Start your engines. Here we go.
Hey everyone, Cam here. This is not a real conversation. These voices are AI clones. In fact, this entire video was made using AI. Enjoy. To set the scene, both debaters are in an elegant debate hall with a mix of serious and witty elements, a grand chandelier above, and colorful caricatures of famous philosophers lining the walls.
Ooh.
William Lane Craig, WLC, and Richard Dawkins, RD, take their positions at the podium, ready to engage in a stimulating discussion.
Yes. Yes. Very good.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's debate on the existence of God.
Is that is that supposed to be Cameron Bertuzzi? Okay. So I am tremendously ignorant when it comes to the technology necessary to create kind of, I guess, visual AI. I know about ChatGPT, and let's face it, at my age, it's amazing that I even know that, okay? Let's be real. I'm at the age where my iPhone is no longer making sense to me.
Let's begin with opening statements. Dr. Craig, you may begin.
Thank you, esteemed moderator Cameron Bertuzzi. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight...
Okay, so many thoughts. I think I missed the debate resolution. Let's go back and watch that one more time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's debate on the existence of God. Let's begin with opening statements. Dr. Craig, you may begin.
Okay. So once again, I'm going to. I understand this is a joke, okay, guys. AI has sort of crafted this together, and it's going to be funny. But I think it's also instructive just to think out loud together, okay? So I'm going to sound like a broken record. This is not a strong debate resolution. When you title your debates like the existence of God, you have no resolution to argue for. This is literally just a category. It's not a declarative statement that can be argued for and against. This is just a topic of discussion. This title could be a Bible Jeopardy round at this point. This is not a great debate resolution, and there are going to be consequences for this. All right. Just to remind us all, right? Okay. We've been a little rusty, haven't talked about debates in a little while. Okay. If we want to bake ourselves a delicious debate cake with chocolate fudge icing and a side of French vanilla ice cream, if we want to create this debate cake, there are some important ingredients to go into this cake. We need a good resolution. We need to know the status quo. And we need to know where presumption lies. And we need to understand who shoulders the burden of proof. Right? Like if we want the debate cake to be the best cake that it could be, we need all of these ingredients, which, by the way, all of them are also interconnected. Okay. But we need all of these things. Why? Because if we don't have a good resolution that is written in the form of a declarative statement, so for example, resolved, the God of the Bible exists, right? I think I've used this one in the past. If we don't have something like that, then it becomes difficult to know who is arguing for what, right? Who takes the affirmative? I mean, what even is the affirmative on the existence of God? For some of you, it seems like I'm being difficult or obtuse. I'm not. I'm trying to get you to see that a strong debate resolution informs everything else that happens on that debate stage. Without it, it becomes difficult to know, like I said, who takes AF, who takes the neg, who shoulders burden of proof, and related to that, who challenges the status quo. Now, is it possible for all of this stuff to be worked out by both debaters prior to them taking the stage? Sure. In the last debate reaction, I talked about sort of the email chain that went back and forth between Tour and Farina, right? And all of that can be fleshed out, you know, in a correspondence that way. But even then, I would argue that's just a lot of work. You know, it's just, there's a lot more work involved for everyone, including the audience at the time of actual debate, you know, to get everyone caught up to speed about AF and neg and burden of proof, when instead, all you have to do is simply title your debates better. Okay, shut up, Nate. Got it. Moving on.
Thank you, esteemed moderator Cameron Bertucci.
Bertucci. He's related to Stanley Tucci from the Hunger Games, apparently.
Gentlemen, tonight I stand before you to present the cosmological argument for God's existence. The universe had a beginning, and everything that begins to exist must have a cause. That cause, I argue, is God, the uncaused cause, who brought the cosmos into existence.
Thank you.
Is that it? First of all, why do these characters both look like they're related to Sam the Eagle from the Muppets? Look at William. Is it right? Second of all, is that enough for an opening statement? You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think. Technically, could that be enough? I mean, AI Craig did have some opening remarks thanking the moderator, which is always good. But yeah, there needs to be more here. I think it's always incumbent upon the debater to answer an important question right off the bat for the judges and the audience. And the question is, how can I get the audience to start trusting me? Right? And there's ways to do this in your opener. You can start by like turning up the heat, so to speak, by simply talking about how important this issue is for everyone in the audience. You know, you can always tell a story. Those are the tried and true methods. You can provide an illustration. I mean, you definitely need to thank the venue for having you. You definitely need to thank your interlocutor for joining you on stage. You can always tell a good joke. I'm a horrible joke teller, by the way. Somebody put me on the spot the other day and said, you know, hey, Nate, you got a good joke for us? I'm not that kind of funny. I react to things in the moment that are funny. I act kooky and wacky much of the time, but I have literally no grab bag full of jokes handy anywhere near my person. Okay, that's just not me. Having said that, the best joke that I heard on the debate stage was one time when Dinesh D'Souza said, I think this was in a debate with Christopher Hitchens, he gets up and says right out of the gate, you know, oh, I noticed we have rather unusual podiums. I'm relieved I remembered to wear pants. Just me, huh? All right, moving on.
Thank you, Mr. Craig. As the esteemed evolutionary biologist, I must challenge the idea of God as an explanation. The theory of evolution provides a natural explanation for the diversity of life we observe without requiring a divine creator.
Smirks.
Smirks. Okay, so now we have both opening statements on the table. I mean, I assume if we're following sort of the format of a formal debate, those would be the opening statements now from AI Craig and Doc AI, if I can refer to them like that. Okay, here's the struggle is, man, was that brief, right? Usually when you have an opening statement, there's a lot more that goes into it. There's some clear contentions, more than one, that are listed there to make your case. So the struggle here is that there's not a lot to work with in terms of what follows next, which I assume is going to be some kind of rebuttal, maybe even a cross-examination period. There's only a couple of minutes in this video. But just so we're clear now, we have two rather vague trains of thought that they're going to need some guidance in order to be brought together to clash, right? And what I mean by that is for AI Craig to bring up the Kalam cosmological argument. I mean, really, the Kalam is meant to give an answer for, or an explanation for, the origin of the universe. Doc AI brings up evolution, but now evolution is meant to give an explanation for the diversity of life. And so that's what I mean. We have we have conversations that could drive right by each other without actually clashing. So to me right now, the setup for the debate is a bit of a mess, but I love how the AI recognizes these are the arguments that the real doctors Craig and Dawkins are known for. It's the Kalam and Darwinian evolution, I suppose.
Ah, Professor Dawkins, I understand your position. But let's not overlook the teleological argument. The intricate design in the universe, from the delicate balance of physical constants to the complexity of biological systems, points to an intelligent designer.
Intelligent.
So is this a rebuttal? Oh, man. Boy, it's hard to see how this is not a new contention as opposed to a refutation of now Doc AI's argument. Again, if this were rebuttal, I suppose this is rebuttal now because the openers are done. Your rebuttal is meant to poke holes in your interlocutor's contentions, assuming that he has more than one, okay? Since Doc AI mentioned evolution, and so now I can't remember if he mentioned Darwinian evolution or just evolution, well then AI Craig should specifically seek to defeat that argument. Appealing to the teleological argument is not typically how one does that. I mean, this is pretty funny though. Smirks.
Design, you say? Well, if the universe is intelligently designed, then surely you can explain the existence of poorly designed features, like the appendix or male nipples.
Laughs.
Hey, you know what though? Doc AI is responding appropriately, like in his rebuttal period. So that's interesting. I think I'd say at the moment, Doc AI has the upper hand on AI Craig. By the way, I love Doc AI's soft, breathy voice. You know what I mean? You know what somebody should do? They should create an AI clone of Richard Dawkins quoting crazy things Joe Biden has said. I would watch that. Listen here, fat. Right? You're a dog-faced pony soldier. I think that would... Okay, this is derailed, clearly. Well, it wasn't even railed to begin with, but anyway.
Laughs. Touché, Professor Dawkins.
Laughs.
Perhaps God enjoys a bit of whimsy and irony in his designs, but let's delve into the moral argument. If there are objective moral values, then there must...
Well, okay, so by the way, the word poor there, so when a moment ago when Doc AI mentioned, features of the human anatomy that are poorly designed, right? The word poor requires definition because it assumes that human beings have such a high level of knowledge that we know what proper design looks like and also what poor design looks like. The appendix is a great example of this. I mean, Doc AI just mentioned the appendix. Up until 5 minutes ago, nobody knew what an appendix was for. And so it would become this great talking point from the skeptic side to show that, well, the appendix is a vestigial organ that has no current function. Except it does, though. And we now understand that it plays a role in fighting infections in our body. But you know what? Good on Doc AI for bringing that up, because I'm fairly certain the poor design talking point is really something that real Dawkins has brought up in previous debates. Okay? And again, also, just right now, based on this last response, I would say Doc AI has the upper hand.
Professor Dawkins, perhaps God enjoys a bit of whimsy and irony in his designs, but let's delve into the moral argument. If there are objective moral values, then there must be a moral lawgiver, God.
Objective moral values, Mr. Craig? I submit that human societies have developed a sense of morality through evolution. Empathy and cooperation are advantageous traits that have emerged naturally.
Nods.
Nods. So I don't know if this AI has it in for Dr. Craig, but AI Craig is not doing a great job. Okay, he keeps changing the subject when Doc AI responds to something he said, right? Raising the moral argument is not responding to Doc AI's previous comments about design. That's just bringing up the moral argument. It's an entirely different topic of discussion. Perhaps as a cumulative case for the existence of God, the moral argument has its place. But in rebuttal, in light of your interlocutor's previous comments, it doesn't fit. And, when somebody is pressed to respond to the alleged lack of design, nobody would get away in a debate with saying, perhaps God's a little whimsical, On the other hand, I think Doc AI's response is solid, right? I mean, from the side of the atheist or the skeptic, social contract theory naturally flows out of the Darwinian evolution paradigm. Why is that? Well, because if there is no God, life emerged through mutation and natural selection, maybe even punctuated equilibrium. Who knows, right? Evolutionists have proposed various ways to get to the point that humanity is at right now. But also, this means there is no objective moral standard. And so then who gets to decide morality? Well, societies, according to social contract theory. So Doc AI is besting AI Craig right now, but that's not saying a whole lot for something like this.
Evolution may explain our moral instincts, but it doesn't necessarily ground objective moral truths. Without a transcendent moral foundation, we're left with subjective preferences.
Transcendent moral foundation, but then which religion?
True. So all of what AI Craig said is true, but that doesn't quite get at the heart of Doc AI's comments. Do you see that? What needed to be accounted for first, in my opinion, is that morality is objective. AI Craig assumes it is objective in order to make the comment that he just made, but he first needs to justify his position on objective morality and then deal with this other stuff secondarily.
Transcendent moral foundation, but then which religious tradition's moral code do we follow? There are countless conflicting claims.
Smiles. Professor.
Smiles, smirks, nods. Well, okay, so hold on now. Doc AI now is not properly responding. So it doesn't matter that there are various religions out there with their own specific moral codes. What matters is that morality can be proved to be objective. And that's where the discussion should lie. All the rest of this stuff is sort of within the orbit of the greater issue, but not as important as focusing on some kind of justification for objective morality. So now both interlocutors are starting to lose their footing a bit here. I should say this, though. The AI stuff is super impressive. The fact that our technology can get this close to representing the real Craig and the real Dawkins, that's fascinating. Well, depending on who you are. Maybe for some of us, this is terrifying. Let me know which you are in the comments below. Does this AI stuff excite you? Does it humor you? Or does it freak you the heck out? Also, if you have not done it yet, please punch that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on what I've got for you coming up. I think you're going to love it.
Professor Dawkins, we must address that through the cumulative case for theism by considering various arguments, cosmological, teleological, moral, and more. We build a strong case for the existence of a personal, all-powerful, and all-knowing God.
So, we're building a divine jigsaw puzzle, are we? But what if we find a piece that doesn't fit?
Laughs. Touché again, Professor.
Laughs. I think we should start just saying certain emotions and physical responses out loud. We should start verbalizing this to each other as a society. I think that would be hilarious. Smirks, laughs, silently passes gas.
Touché again, Professor. I must admit there are challenges and mysteries, but that's what makes this journey exciting. Embracing doubt and exploring the unknown is part of the human experience.
Fair enough, Mr. Craig. But let's not forget the burden of proof. Extraordinary claims like the existence of God require extraordinary evidence.
You're absolutely right.
Good on Doc AI. The AI knows the real deal. This is what many Christians face as a typical response from skeptics and atheists, right? Extraordinary claims requires extraordinary evidence. It's a great skeptic soundbite, and nobody knows what it actually means. Don't believe me? The next time somebody throws this statement at you, ask them for a specific objective standard for extraordinary evidence. And then wait for a response. Because what's probably going to happen is they're going to fall apart as they try to define it. I've never seen somebody actually define the word extraordinary in a clear, measurable manner. And so this phrase, it's a nothing burger. I mean, the bottom line is the proof that is required for any claim, whether it seems extraordinary to some people or not, is sufficient evidence that justifies the claim. So now we're back to, the Tolman model of argumentation. A Tolman is used, I think, hold on, let me back up. It's what we used in the debate circuit back in Vegas. I was about to say it's used everywhere in debate. I'm not sure about that, but it should be. I mean, it's a standard. I mean, I used the Tolman model of argumentation to grade my literature students when they wrote essays. It's part of what we call the NVACS, the Nevada Academic Content Standards. I say all of this in case somebody out there is thinking that Nate, you're just trying to be a Christian right now and appeal to some kind of double standard for evaluating claims. I'm not. I'm appealing to Tolman, and Tolman is not a religious model of argumentation by any stretch.
You're absolutely right. The existence of God is a profound claim, and it is incumbent upon those who make the claim to present evidence. I believe the arguments I've presented tonight provide compelling reasons to consider the existence of God.
Well, Mr. Craig, I appreciate your passion and intellectual rigor. While I may not share your conclusions, I admire your dedication to exploring these questions.
The debate continues.
That's not Richard Dawkins, right? I mean, right? That's not the soft-spoken curmudgeon that we all know. Would the real Dawkins really say that to William Lane Craig? Am I way off? That wouldn't have happened. I admire your spunk and go get him rigger, you dog-faced pony soldier. Right? That's more like the Richard Dawkins we know.
With both speakers engaging in spirited discussions on various philosophical, scientific, and theological aspects of the existence of God. The audience listens intently, appreciating the depth of the arguments and the mutual respect demonstrated by the debaters. In the end, the debate serves as a testament to the power of civil discourse, as William Lane Craig and Richard Dawkins exemplify how intelligent minds can tackle profound questions while maintaining a sense of camaraderie and respect for one another's perspectives.
That was fun. I enjoyed that. Huge thank you to Cameron Bertuzzi for putting that together. But now, let's do this, okay? I think this is entirely appropriate. I've walked through this debate and pointed out who I think did a better job. To me, it was Doc AI, okay? But now, let's see what AI thinks about who won the debate. All right, this is the free version of ChatGPT. I'm going to send it a message. I'm going to type in, I guess, a couple of specific prompts, and let's just see how it handles it. I don't know how this is going to go, so let's see. William Lane Craig and Richard Dawkins agree to a debate. Okay, I'm setting up the premise here. The debate topic is resolved. The God of the Bible exists. Let's help the AI a little bit. The debate format is formal and should be judged according to the rules of, let's say, non-policy debate. It's not a policy debate. We're not looking to enact laws. We are talking about the nature of reality. Who would win? Here it is. As of my last knowledge update in September 21, I don't have access to future events or developments that might have occurred after that time, so I cannot provide you with the outcome of a hypothetical debate between William Lane Craig and Richard Dawkins in your specified context. Wah, wah. Additionally, the outcome of a debate can be influenced by many factors, including the arguments presented, the persuasiveness of the speakers, the audience's preconceptions, and the judges' perspectives. Okay. Both William Lane Craig and Richard Dawkins are prominent figures in their respective fields, Craig being a Christian philosopher and theologian, and Dawkins being a prominent evolutionary biologist and atheist advocate. Their debating skills and the strength of their arguments would play a significant role in determining the outcome. Okay, Captain Obvious. Craig is known for his skill in formal debates and his use of philosophical arguments to support the existence of God. He often employs the Kalam cosmological argument. There you go. The fine-tuning argument and the moral argument. So we heard that in the AI debate. Dawkins, on the other hand, is a staunch advocate for atheism and a critic of religious beliefs. He might approach the debate from a scientific and evolutionary perspective. That's exactly how it went. Critiquing the concept of God and the religious narratives. The winner of a debate depends on various factors, including the presentation of arguments, logical coherence, ability to address counter-arguments, rhetoric, audience reception, and personal biases of the judges or audience. In a formal non-policy debate, the assessment would be based on the quality and persuasiveness of the arguments put forth by each debater. Well, this AI is sounding like me. That's fantastic. Ultimately, the outcome of the debate is speculative and would depend on the performance of both debaters in that specific context. If this debate has actually taken place, I recommend looking for sources that discuss the arguments presented and the reactions of the audience and judges to determine who is considered the winner based on their performance in that particular debate. That was a lengthy non-answer. All right. Okay, so here's a question that we can ask. I'm still trying to get AI to give me a solid answer. Who is a better debater according to formal rules of debate? Is it William Lane Craig or Richard Dawkins? Let's find out. So it says, assessing who is a better debater, it's according to formal rules, is subjective and can vary depending on individual perspectives. However, I can provide you with some general observations based on their debate styles and approaches that might be relevant to the formal rules of debate. Number one, William Lane Craig is known for his systematic and structured approach to presenting arguments. He often lays out his premises clearly and logically. He tends to focus on philosophical arguments for the existence of God, such as the cosmological argument, the moral argument, etc. Craig is skilled at presenting and defending complex philosophical concepts in a manner that is easy to follow for the audience. That is why he is so formidable. By the way, one of the reasons why. By the way, this connects to a video that I made previously, so I want to go ahead and plug that for you. It's What's So Great About William Lane Craig. This was a live stream that I did a little bit ago where I sort of looked at his opening statement and just talked again about sort of the formal structure of debate and why William Lane Craig is so good. So definitely check that out. Also, William Lane Craig tends to emphasize the importance of rational argumentation and logic. Dawkins is known for his eloquence and his ability to communicate complex scientific concepts to a general audience. He is good at that. He often emphasizes empirical evidence and scientific explanations in his debate. Dawkins tends to focus on critiquing religious beliefs from a scientific and atheistic perspective, often discussing topics like evolution, cosmology, and the origins of life. He is skilled at presenting logical arguments and highlighting inconsistencies in religious claims. In a formal debate setting, the outcome would depend on the effectiveness of their arguments, their ability to address counter-arguments, and their adherence to the rules of debate. Okay, so all the things that, that we just said above. Boy, AI does not want to answer this question. So let me just go ahead and straight up ask the AI, do you think God exists, and why or why not? Now we're on a different path now. I don't possess personal beliefs, thoughts, or consciousness, so I don't hold any opinions on matters like the existence of God. However, I can provide you with an overview of some common arguments for and against the existence of God that have been discussed by philosophers, theologians, and thinkers throughout history. And so then we have the cumulative case that Dr. Craig presented. The arguments against the existence of God is the problem of evil, the lack of empirical evidence, inconsistent religious experiences, and evolution and natural processes. These are just a few of the many arguments that have been put forth on both sides of the debate. Beliefs about the existence of God are deeply personal and often shaped by factors such as upbringing, culture, personal experiences, and philosophical inclinations. It's important to engage in thoughtful and respectful discussions when exploring these topics. Well, thank you, AI. I think it also is extremely important to be respectful. Rule number 3 of First State Evangelism is to respect and affirm the person that you're talking to. Always. Always. Well, that's great. If you want to take a look at ChatGPT here, you're probably way ahead of the curve than I am, okay? So this is probably not new for you at all. You can go to chat.openai.com and you can have these kinds of discussions. I think this is, particularly, I suppose, if you're looking into some of the arguments for and against the existence of God, AI is going to help you out, at least collect together what the sort of cultural conversation looks like, and just boom, 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 put it out there for you so that you can look into it yourself. I mean, I think I would strongly recommend everybody to understand, these arguments for the existence of God, as well as these arguments against the existence of God. As a Christian myself, I don't think any of these I think these all have answers. Well, obviously, because I'm a Christian. But anyway, that's fantastic. That was a huge letdown. So anyway, let's just go back to the fact that I told you who I thought won this epic AI showdown. It was Doc AI. But now it's your turn. Who do you think won? AI Craig or Doc AI? Let me know in the comments below. I have more videos for you coming up very soon, along with an announcement on the upcoming Patreon that I am very excited to start. That's happening very, very soon. Very, very soon here. I hope you're excited about that like me. A lot of potential and opportunities here, particularly for debate. But anyway, stay tuned for those announcements. Thank you very much for watching. I will take a break and return soon, but in the meantime, I will say bye for now.